Hey guys, and welcome. Just bringing another video to you before I head off on vacation tomorrow. And in this video I'm going to show you how to find underperforming listings. In this particular example they're going to have 1 to 2 images, so you know that as long as they're selling properly you're going to be able to improve the listing, create a better listing with better pictures, better bullet points, and ultimately be able to take the business away from the listing that's already there. Okay, so for this video we're going to be using Blackbox. This is just one of the tools that Helium 10 offer. This is an entire suite of tools, but just for this purpose and this video we're going to be using Blackbox. So as you'll see here, I've already got some of these plugged in from previously using it, but I'll go through and explain each one of them and then how to manipulate this so you're finding underperforming listings that are going to create you the greatest potential. So the first thing that I've done here, I've just got a few of my kind of favorites that I prefer to look in. You can select all of these or you can just individually select or unselect them, but just for now these are the ones that I typically tend to start off looking in. Next thing that I want to do is I want a monthly revenue of a minimum of $10,000. So that means that they're doing $10,000 a month in sales or more. The next thing we want to do is look at price, and for me personally I always put a maximum price of $200. In my opinion and experience, anything over $200, and that typically doesn't become a spontaneous purchase. I think anything under $200 and people are willing to go on, as long as they kind of got an idea of what they want and they can find it, you can offer it to them, then they're willing to pay $200 or less. Anything more than that and it just seems to slow down sales. So for this purpose I'm going to do a maximum of $200 for the item price. The next thing I do is review count, and I don't want this product listing to have any more than 100 reviews, ideally a lot less than that, but I max it out at 100 and then it's not going to show me anything more than that. The next one down, this is the really important one, and this is what they've recently added in, and it's completely unique. I've got 4 other product research tools that I use and none of them offer this, and it's to be able to search by the amount of images on a listing. And this is hugely important, because if you can find a listing which is under optimized but is still selling $10,000 to $20,000 a month, you can go in there and you can optimize your listing. You can have better pictures, you can have more pictures, you can have a better description, bullet points. You can just make your listing better in general, and then that existing listing that's already selling $10,000 to $20,000 a month, you can just come in and you can start using your listing to take some of that business away from them, and your listing is going to be better in every way. And so the people that are looking for that particular product are going to lean towards your listing, as long as the pricing is comparable but your listing and your images and your explanation and everything is better, then you're going to always get those sales. So this is very important. I limit this to 2, and I don't look for anything with any more than 2 images in it, because I know that Amazon allows 7, so I'm going to be able to hugely optimize mine to be much better than theirs. And then finally over here as well, I just reduce this down to 4. Sometimes I have it a little higher. It really depends on what it is. It really depends on the individual product and how many other, like outdoors for example, is there tends to be lots and lots of sellers of the same thing. If you look into snorkel masks or camping hammocks or anything like that, there's a huge number of sellers, so it's kind of proportionate on how many other people are selling them. But I always find 4 to be a good number. You can always be competitive if there's 5 of you selling the same thing and you've got a very good listing. Okay, so let's now go down, run the search. And as you're going to see here, there's just a ton of stuff. Some of it, you know, if it's branded for example, you're not going to take any interest in that unless you're going to go through a supplier of that. There's a few other things to take into consideration if you do want to do that, but for the sake of private labeling, I always typically just stay away If you're going to get into branded products, then it's something completely different. If you're talking about private labeling or looking for products to be able to private label yourself, then just steer away from a lot of these branded products. Okay, so this one kind of interesting. Not entirely sure what it is, but as you can see, it's doing $10,000 a month in sales, and whatever it is selling for just under $72. And really at this point we're just kind of browsing through, seeing what there is, just trying to get a feel for what there is out there, how many of them are branded, how many of them aren't, and just see if there's anything, you know, maybe this is something that you could get inexpensively. It's a little bit on the larger side, but I wouldn't let that worry you. Again, this is, you know, something that's got potential. Again, it's doing $10,000 a month. Okay, again, this, you know, kind of looks interesting. It's got some potential. Selling for $107. There's only 2 other people selling it, and they're selling, you know, 93 of them a month. So, you know, this definitely got some potential. This may be somewhat seasonal. It's July 2018 at the moment. So, a beach towel may be somewhat seasonal. You'd have to look into it a little bit better, but it looks like it's probably somewhat seasonal. The fact that it's increased over the last 90 days, you know, when we're in the middle of summer now. But you know, as you can see, it's $15 towel. It's not expensive. You could probably buy this for way under $1, probably 20 cents, less than that. Okay, again, another one. This is the beauty of using products like this, is it makes me aware of things that I would have never have thought of in a million years. There's people here, they're selling $63 firewood. They're basically selling somebody something for $63. They're making over 10 grand a month, and it's just firewood. And again, this could be seasonal. You know, I would expect that would pick up in the fall and the winter months. But again, it looks, you know, it's another one. It's the middle of summer and they're still doing 10 grand a month. Possibly people are using it for barbecues, I don't know. But again, it's another one. There's only one seller. It's doing 10 grand a month. It's only got 1 image. I mean, you could easily beat that. This is kind of an interesting one. I like the look of this. It's doing, again, 10,000 a month. The unit in itself is $81.47. The interesting thing to me though is at the moment it has no sellers. So this is something that was selling well with only 2 images. They was doing 10 grand a month. Maybe they've run out of inventory, I don't know. Some reason they've stopped selling because there's nobody selling that at the moment. So again, this is something that you know was selling $10,000 a month. There's a demand for it. There was 123 people that purchased it last month, and now nobody's selling it. You know, so immediately that's something that you could start investigating and looking into, seeing what other comparable products there are out there, how they're doing. But that, to me, that looks like it's got some good potential there. Okay, so I don't want this video to be too long. I've got suitcases to go and pack, but as you can see, there's huge potential there, and this is just one of those ways of finding opportunity that other people aren't doing. Because a lot of the ways that people are currently teaching are things that worked a year ago and 2 years ago, and everybody's using the same tools, looking in the same places, and you need to be creative. I used to do something similar to this, looking for under-optimized listings, but I just used to have to do it a very, very long-winded way. So this just hugely speeds up the process. If you've got any additional comments or questions, just leave them down in the comments section below and I'll get round to them as soon as I can. Thanks for watching.